thank you very much. I'll give broad indications of the decisions taken so that my opening statement doesn't become too long, and post that on specific items I can always elaborate. See, I first go by the rate changes on goods, particularly, specifically also, where the rates have come down or exemptions have happened. So, a reduction in the rate of fortified rice kernels, which are classifiable under 1904, to 5%. As you know, fortified rice kernels are supplied with an intent of they getting passed on to the PDS. So the poor benefit from it, and it was a conscious decision that we bring the price down, tax down. Next is gene therapy, which is now very critical for life-saving measures taken for very life-threatening diseases, have been totally exempt. LR-SAM system is very important in defense, surface to air missile. So in that, we've decided to extend the GST exemption which are provided to systems, subsystems, equipment, parts, sub-parts, tools, test equipment, software meant for assembly and manufacture of LR-SAM. All of them have always been exempted, but now the exemption is further extended. It was, I think in 2019, the exemption was provided. Now the exemption continues, so we've extended it. Then there is a reduction in the rate of compensation cess to 0.1% on supplies to merchant exporters, at par with the GST rate on such supplies. So this was a particularly important request which had come from traders and exporters. In order to help exporters, this relief has been provided, otherwise the working capital was getting blocked because they paid it and then claimed back. So this is with a clear intent of helping exporters. Next is to exempt GST imports of all equipment and consumable samples by inspection teams of the International Atomic Energy Agency, the IAEA, subject to specific conditions. Then this is another important step which you can link with the fortified rice that I spoke about, also to help the weaker sections, to extend the concessional 5% GST on input of food preparations that are supplied for food preparations intended for free distribution to economically weaker sections under a government program subject to existing conditions. So this is also an extension of the 5% rate which prevails for food items which go into food preparation that is used for free distribution for the weaker sections. So these are the reduction or exemption or extension of rates. There are such for services, I'm not elaborating it this minute. There are clarifications also being issued on ACC blocks containing more than 50% fly ash. If it has more than 50% fly ash content, it will fall under a particular HS code of 6815 and it will attract 12% GST. This is very important, the next one, which is also a clarification. that black pepper, whether fresh green black pepper or dried black pepper, and raisins, that is kishmish, when supplied by an agriculturist, is not liable to GST. So when the merchant buys it and sells it, is a different story. But if the agriculturist himself, call him a farmer, call him a plantation worker, if he himself is giving it or a small person is giving it, then it is not liable to GST. Then this will be important to amend the definition of pre-packaged and labeled items to cover all commodities that are intended for retail sale and containing not more than 25 kg or 25 liters, which are pre-packed as defined by the Legal Metrology Act, or a label affixed thereto is required to bear the declarations under the provisions of the Act. This is also very important because it's an amendment, so that clarification has, for the lack of it, has created a lot of confusion. So we are defining what actually is pre-packaged and packaged. Before I get into the detail of other, there's one other important thing. Payment aggregators who do less than 2,000 rupees payment are eligible for exemption. But let us understand, and I provide this clarification now, that this exemption does not cover payment gateways and other fintech services which do not involve settlement of funds. So payment aggregators alone, I'm talking about, who do less than 2,000 rupees will have that exemption provided. Another important decision, there are several which will be covered in detail in the press note which all of you will receive. I clarify that no GST is payable on the penal charges levied and collected by banks and NBFCs from borrowers for non-compliance with loan terms. This will be very important for small businesses. So I repeat it, the Council has desired that we issue a clarification that no GST is payable on the penal charges levied and collected by banks and NBFCs from borrowers for non-compliance with terms, loan terms. Before I get into the specific details of others, broad items of interest for all of you all, I'd like to list them out. There are about 8 of them. We have a Minister of State, Pankaj Chaudharyji, who chaired the compensation cess related group of ministers. They have given a request to the Council, which the Council has accepted today, that they need more time to get into the details. So that has been given an extension. Nothing specifically mentioned about the term, but extension has been provided. Then there was this request placed on the agenda whether ATF, air traffic fuel, should be brought into the GST. Because periodically we've had airlines telling us, civil aviation requesting us, that ATF should be brought into the GST. It's not been agreed on. States did not feel comfortable. They didn't want the ATF because they saw it as part of the crude petroleum diesel basket, and therefore they said that alone cannot be taken out, and therefore that continues to remain where it is today. There was also a suggestion just ATF could be put to a GOM so that they can think whether it is worthy of consideration to be brought into the GST. but they did not want anything done about ATF. So that is the second. Third, the GOM on health insurance. In fact, I may suggest that I must inform that the chairman of that GOM, Deputy Chief Minister of Bihar, was for almost just before lunch, he left. He was there in the morning session. And since he had to leave a bit early, he decided that the council take that issue up first. And he did say that after good work, it's felt that it requires more time, and therefore health insurance related dual work also requires more time, so they have gone to take more time. On one or two specific grounds which I would like to put before you as to why it had to have more time. Insurance, and therefore the insurance regulators' input is awaited. IRDAI, the insurance regulatory development authorities' inputs have not come, so the GOM felt that it needed a bit more time. The rate rationalization GOM also needs more time. Again, there I would like to inform through you, media, that speculation about what the rate rationalization is doing is seen everywhere. And there are reports which are also carried on saying it may be like this, it may be like that, even in the media, because that's there and therefore you also report on it. मगर उसका रिपोर्ट फाइनल नहीं हुआ है, इसीलिए मैं बहुत ही विनम्रता से आप सबको रिक्वेस्ट कर रही हूँ, स्पेकुलेशन में नहीं रिपोर्ट करना चाहिए, स्पेकुलेशन आधारित रिपोर्ट नहीं करना चाहिए, क्योंकि रेट, टैक्स रेट के ऊपर स्पेकुलेशन करना उसका असर पूरे सोसाइटी के ऊपर पड़ता है और सभी वर्गों के ऊपर मन में ये चिंता हो जाती है कि क्या होने वाले हैं, क्या बढ़ेगा, कम होगा, घटेगा। ये स्पेकुलेशन में प्लीज मत भाग लेना, क्योंकि कमिटी का काम खत्म नहीं हुआ। I honestly want media to please check up every time with the concerned people, क्या इसमें फाइनल हो गया है, निर्णय हुआ है कि नहीं, ये चेक करके छपाइए ना। छपाने में लोगों के मन में बहुत सारी चिंता आ जाता है कि क्या होने वाले हैं, नहीं होने वाले, इंक्रीज होने वाले हैं। So my request is the committees have not finalized, the GOMs have not finalized, and they have legitimate reasons which which the GST Council has appreciated. हाँ, उनको और समय चाहिए, इसीलिए इस बीच में स्पेकुलेशन में मत जाना। Speculation on these very sensitive matters is not really good for any one of us. So rate rationalization has also not finalized its report. They need a bit more time. एक विषय मैं आपके सामने रखना चाहती हूँ, छोटे कंपनियों रजिस्ट्रेशन में बहुत दिक्कत होता है, क्योंकि उनके रजिस्ट्रेशन को प्रोसेस में बहुत सारे प्रश्न उठाते हैं कि आपके बिजनेस साइज क्या है, कितने साल से हैं, आप इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट लेने वाले हैं, कॉम्पनसेशन और स्मॉल कंपनी, ये सब प्रश्न आता है। इसीलिए एक कॉन्सेप्ट नोट तैयार किया गया है, and that concept note today received an in-principle approval of the GST Council. This will bring in new registration process, which of course will require an amendment in the law. Act में छोटा सा amendment का जरूरत भी पड़ेगा, मगर वो concept note को विस्तार से पढ़ने के बाद, उसको GST Council approve करने के बाद, हम जो amendment करना है वो करेंगे। मकसद एक ही है कि छोटे कंपनियों का रजिस्ट्रेशन आसानी से होना चाहिए और उनको, जिन कंपनियों को आईटीसी भी छोटा है, उन कंपनीज का इतना दिक्कत नहीं होना चाहिए। सो सिंप्लीफिकेशन को मन में रखते हुए ये कॉन्सेप्ट को टेबल किया गया है एंड द काउंसिल हैज इन प्रिंसिपल गिवन इट्स अप्रूवल। The next one अगेन मीडिया में बहुत स्पेकुलेशन इसके ऊपर नहीं हुआ, मैं इसको आपके सामने रखना चाह रही हूँ। ये डिसीजन डेफर हुआ है, मगर डिसीजन में बोल रही हूँ, विषय बोल रही हूँ। क्विक कॉमर्स के द्वारा या डिलीवरी प्लेटफॉर्म के द्वारा, ई कॉमर्स के द्वारा फूड डिलीवरी जब होता है, उसमें फूड का रेट में टैक्स करें, डिलीवरी के लिए अलग टैक्स करें, डिलीवरी के लिए अलग कितना टैक्स करना है, इन सभी विषयों के ऊपर चर्चा हुआ। पिछले एक सप्ताह से मैं देख रही हूँ न्यूज़पेपर्स में कंपनियों का नाम लेकर के इनके ऊपर 18 होगा, बड़े क्विक कॉमर्स में इतना होगा, क्या खाने की चीज में 5% जब लग रही है, घर में पहुंचने में उसका 18% टैक्स होगा क्या? अगेन मैं आपको हाथ जोड़कर विनती करती हूँ, जीएसटी काउंसिल के खिलाफ इसमें कोई निर्णय नहीं हुआ है, ये डिफर हुआ है, जिससे जीओएम इसकी ऊपर विस्तार से और एक बार चेक करेगी। क्या क्विक कॉमर्स के द्वारा घर में खाना मंगवाना और जब खाने की चीज के ऊपर 5% है, डिलीवरी के लिए ज्यादा होना है कि नहीं होना है, क्या है, इसके ऊपर विस्तार से चर्चा हुआ है और इसका निर्णय नहीं हुआ। और जब तक निर्णय जीएसटी काउंसिल तक नहीं आता, उसके ऊपर प्लीज स्पेकुलेट नहीं करना।
It will not apply to the past.
It will not apply to the past.
But the
No
date is
retrospective.
apply 26/2023. The date from which the notification, this explanation has been uploaded in the notification. The date from which this explanation has been uploaded in the notification, it will apply from that date onwards. The past it will not apply.
Industry or insurance premium payers? On whom who's to buy car?
Sorry, I don't know.
They're talking in detail and therefore they're taking more time.
And one more quick one was, ma'am, could you give us the details in that pilot meeting we sent? Could you give us the detail
On what?
on the popcorn issue?
On the popcorn issue, please.
Thank you very much.
That is if it is namkeen. But if it is added sugar, I've given you the explanation. आज एटीएफ के विषय में चर्चा जब हुआ, ये स्पष्ट आया है, स्टेट्स ये नहीं चाहती कि एटीएफ जीएसटी में आए, वो चाहते हैं जैसे पेट्रोल, जैसे डीजल, एटीएफ भी स्टेट के अधिकार में रहे। आज भी उस विषय में हर स्टेट इतना स्पष्ट बोले कि जीएसटी में नहीं आना चाहिए, पेट्रोल हो, डीजल हो, एटीएफ हो, यही है।
That was one of the agenda points. In case of safari retreats, Honorable Supreme Court pronounced that plant or machinery is not defined under GST law. What is explained is plant and machinery. That matter was looked into and it was found that it was a drafting error, because plant and machinery, the term has been used at 11 places. Only in one it has been mentioned as plant or machinery. So that drafting error is now being corrected with effect from 1st July 2017. A recommendation in this regard has been made. This will require amendment in the GST law in that particular provision under section 17(5). So it will be carried out accordingly as per the recommendation made by the GST Council. In such cases, it is mentioned that notwithstanding anything pronounced in any court order, the provision will apply as it is now in amended.
सुझाव एक
I love this is Girish Murali. I'm looking forward to little clarifications. Has the rate rationalization GOM specify any how much extra time they may require to give their final recommendations? And secondly, ma'am, you have mentioned that two issues where law changes may be required. One is the registration for small companies, and which is the other one that we noticed.
No, the concept note is what we studied. In principle, the council has accepted it. Once the concept note is studied in detail, then again it will be presented before the GST council. Once they agree on simplifying as per the law, the registration process for small companies, then the amendment will have to be done in the law. So that is one thing to say.
जीएसटी के जो माल की बिक्री होती है वो डिफेंस पर्सनल के लिए होती है, हमारे आर्मी में जो लोग काम कर रहे हैं या फोर्सेस में काम कर रहे हैं उनके लिए सरकार ने अपनी सेवाओं को ध्यान में रखते हुए उसमें छूट दी है। जहाँ तक आपने कहा कि इसमें अंडर बिलिंग हो रही है या वो माल बाहर बेच जाता है, पर लेकिन जब सीएसडी से बेचा जाता है तब तो वो उन्हीं को बेचा जाता है जो आदमी पर्सनल होते हैं। लेकिन अगर उसमें कोई माल का डायवर्जन हो रहा है, ऐसी कोई जानकारी डिपार्टमेंट के निगाह में आती है तो ये एक एनफोर्समेंट का मैटर हो जाता है और उस पर इन्वेस्टिगेशन की जा सकती है अगर ऐसी कोई जानकारी डिपार्टमेंट के संज्ञान में लाई जाती है।
मेरा क्वेश्चन ये था, जीएसटी का जो ये हो रहा है कैंटीन में, वो मार्केट में जो आता है आर्मी पर्सन के लिए आप और छूट दो, मैं उसमें सहमत हूँ। जो मार्केट में आके बिक रहा है वो कर का जो टैक्स का चोरी हो रहा है, उसके लिए हम क्या कर रहे हैं। नंबर दो, जो हॉस्पिटल में, जो होटल्स में, जो व्यापारी अंडर बिलिंग करके माल 100 रुपए का माल 50 रुपए बिलिंग करके बेच रहा है, उसका हम लोग कैसे उसको रोक रहे हैं।
जैसे कि आपने ये बोला कि यहाँ पर भी कहीं ऐसा होता है कि कोई अंडर बिलिंग कर रहा है या माल बिना बिल के बेच रहा है, विभाग के ध्यान में जैसी ही ऐसी कोई जानकारी आती है उस पर अनुचित कार्रवाई की जाती है और उसपे कोई जो जीएसटी की जो चोरी हुई है उसकी वसूली भी की जाती है। अगर आपके संज्ञान में कोई ऐसी चीज है कि कहीं पे चोरी हो रही है तो कृपया ये जानकारी हमें दें और उस पर हम कार्रवाई करें।